Hey guys, welcome back to the Diet Doc Life Mastery Podcast. You may be wondering where we've been. We took a couple months off. Ended up kind of being a summer break like some people in media do. But it was because Kori had a mishap. She decided to try and repave a highway with her face in a bicycling accident.
With a number of parts of my body, actually. You can probably see one of them right here.
Yeah. So, Kori, I would love just, some people who maybe connect with us through social media, they know what happened, and a lot of people have expressed all kinds of concern and just, well wishes. But for those who don't know what happened, tell us a little bit about the scary moment.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. I was in a pretty significant bicycle accident, and those of you who listen know how much I enjoy riding. My coach has always said this because of the amount of riding that I do. It's not a matter of if you will crash, it is when. And of course, I never anticipate when I go for a ride that today's going to be the day I'm going to crash. But it happened. And I was on a group ride. It was a Saturday. And I was out in front. I'm usually out in front. That probably doesn't surprise many people. Most of the group was way back behind. But there was one person in front of me, happened to be my cycling mentor. And we were descending a pretty steep, windy road. And I was going about 36 miles an hour, and I was chasing him and came around a blind corner just far too fast. Back wheel, went out from underneath me. I came down on my right side. Yeah, skidded across the road on my right side, hit my shoulder first. And my face hit like a berm on the other side of the road. Fortunately, guys, no cars. There were no cars involved. Had there been, I could literally be dead right now. But my face hit a berm, and I learned this after the fact. And I landed 15 feet on the other side of the road. Fortunately, didn't fall off a cliff. And my mentor in front of me, who he felt horrible. I never intended for anything like this to happen. It wasn't his fault at all, but he heard the calamity behind him and slowed down. And he told me after, he's like, I slowed down and stopped and turned around, and I saw you. I didn't know what was happening. He knew there something not awesome was happening. What ended up happening, I fractured my right shoulder blade and fractured my nose. But like I said, I didn't know that anything had happened to my face until later, until I'm being wheeled on the gurney through the emergency room. And those reflective globe sort of lights they have? That's when I first saw my face, and I was like, oh, there wasn't any fear or anything. There was just oh, okay, because it was all bloody. After the crash happened and the rest of the group came up, I remember hearing my mentor saying, Kori, I'm here, don't move. And then another of the guys who was fortunately an EMT, he started doing what he does and asking me questions and helped, sit me upright after doing the necessary examinations to see if I was okay and what hurts, what can you move, not move. And the thing, I don't remember having really any huge moments of fear, Joe, because it all just happened so fast. I remember the split second when I was like, I'm going down. And there was an O, fill in the expletive. And then I'm skidding across the road. And then when I sit up and they're fashioning what's it called? Over my arm. A sling. With a bicycle tire tube. Super brilliant, I thought. Where I'm like, oh my God, my teeth. Oh my God, my teeth. And I like I still get worked up about it because my teeth were shoved back, my 2 teeth in my head. And so I couldn't close my mouth. And I've had a ton of work already done on my teeth. So this was a moment of fear for me. And, you know, I'm just feeling that area with my tongue and I'm like, oh God, like that's clearly messed up and I don't know what's going to happen. I can't move this side of my body. And you know, Ben called the ambulance. They put my bike in the ambulance with me, which was awesome. And I just remember Joe being driven to the hospital and I'm looking out the ambulance windows and I remember looking at the people in the cars behind the ambulance and thinking, I wonder what they're thinking. Because I remember, like, as a kid, I'd get excited when I would see an ambulance because I'm like, oh my gosh, something happened. Like, I wonder what happened. And I'd want to look inside. And it was just so interesting sitting there, being the hurt person, but looking out and looking at the people behind me and just reflecting, like, I wonder what they're thinking happened. Because I was still reeling about what happened. I didn't have any time to reflect on what happened. I just knew that I was hurt. So flash forward. I couldn't do anything. I think it's really the first time where I was literally needed a ton of help. But initially was not really comfortable asking for it.
That is probably the worst thing that you or I could ever face, right? Kind of people we are.
Yeah. I remember talking to my mom after I'd gotten home. This was like the day after. And she's like, I want to come help you. Can I come help you? And I instantly felt guilty. Like, this shouldn't be happening. No, you can't fly here. That ticket's going to be freaking expensive. You're coming from Montana to San Diego. I'm like, no, Mom, you don't need to come. And inside, Joe, I'm like, I want my mom. I want my mom. I want my mom. 41 years old. You still need your mom. And there was this internal dialogue going on, like, you need to let her come. She doesn't want to be anywhere but here. To deny her that ability to be here and help you, you know, now I'm thinking in a totally different direction. And I need and want her. And then I'm like, but I don't want I don't want him to think I don't need him. And, you know, enter the counselor where I'm trying to think of how everyone is going to be affected. But it finally landed on, yes, Mom, please come. And she came. And she couldn't believe that I actually drove to the airport with Ben to go pick her up. I'm like, it wasn't a question. You know, I may have gotten in this accident and I can barely move, although I had some really great pain meds for a couple days. But that wasn't a question. She was coming to take care of me. And so my mom stayed for a week and literally cooked and typed emails for me. Initially, I was trying to work, Joe, and you know this. I was trying to work at my computer, but I couldn't type. I couldn't do anything with this side of my body. And they initially thought my hand was broken as well. It was all swollen and mangled. And so, you know, there was that moment of, I just need to stop. And that's
where I want to stop you for a second, because again, a lot of people, you know that you're in this accident. Some people may have no clue, but this was a major life event. This is not like, oh, I sprained my ankle and had to, you know, not run for a couple of days. And I really think it's a great opportunity to share some things to help people prioritize their lives. Because in that moment, like you said, in the ambulance,
Mm-hmm.
all the things you had thought about that day, all the things you have to get done and your plans and this, like nothing mattered except the visceral, physical, what is going on to me? Am I okay? What's happening? And for the next few weeks, nothing else mattered. And so what I want to do is create a series talking about all of those things, how the practical nature of what you just said, you know, being able to ask for help, accepting help, accepting that kind of empathy and love from other people. But, you know, it really does help align your priorities, even with work and what's important. And so there's all kinds of things that we can talk about, including, you know, psychological flexibility. So if you're okay with it, I would love to create a series just talking about what to do when you face these kinds of setbacks and what that means, you know, potentially making lemonade out of lemons for your life, or you can take something so, you know, possibly disastrous and come out just so much better.
Well, I would love to, Joe, because going through this experience literally changed the topics and concepts that I moved into my mental edge sessions with, and, you know, working with nutrition clients. And there is that aspect of mental resilience, and that's not something I never focused on before, but I had
a little different meaning now.
Little different meaning now, exactly. And, you know, those of you who follow us know that I created that Dear Body Thank You course. That was in my mind before the accident, but I released it after the accident, and the process of going through the healing from it, mentally, emotionally, and physically, informed everything that I put into that course. And like you said, it brought a completely new flavor to not just that, but life in general, and what I think about and how I think about it. So,
well, I appreciate you being willing to share this, and I'm so happy that we're back doing this. I get to see you more often now again, as everybody else I know will be. So you guys stay tuned. We're going to have a great series. It's really going to be life-changing, I think, to a lot of people, talking about how this kind of lessons learned in priorities and resilience can be so dramatically helpful. When you think something horrible is happening, could be the best thing, you know, ever for you. So thanks again for watching, listening to the Diet Doc Life Mastery podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks, guys.